Ladies and gentlemen, 14 hours until the weekly candle close. Let's be very clear, right? If you've watched any of my content, I want to just clarify this off the bat. And if you haven't, just listen to this and then I'll clarify what it means in the video. The weekly candle close will not end the bear market, okay? But it could be a very big step in the wrong direction because bull market structures can only be broken down on the price chart. And in my view, right, we still have a lot of room for downside to go before we break bull market structures. We are on the edge of a cliff. I mean, we're right there, but we've still got to break down below something like 50K, maybe even down to 49K, something like that. It's the weekly candle close in 12 hours. The importance of that weekly candle is actually moving through to the RSI, not only the RSI on Bitcoin, but the RSI on things like Ethereum as well. And if we break down from the RSI structures, that's going to be very indicative of bad stuff to come. So that itself wouldn't confirm the end, right? But it would be indicative of the end becoming increasingly likely. Right? So we're gonna clarify all of this today. And in tomorrow's video, I'll give you a recap on what the weekly candle close did. And then if we do see a bad weekly candle close, only then will I do an extensive analysis of exactly what needs to hold on the price chart. Because right now I have three levels, right? These two yellow lines and the channel itself, which kind of is the structure we've been holding for 5 months. But I haven't done an intense deep dive. I understand there is a case to be made that something like 47K and hence the neckline that forms this recent top here would be a level that people would be watching. I understand that argument and we'll look into that a bit more tomorrow if we do see the bad news. But for now, we need to just focus on the immediate short term, and that is the weekly candle close coming in, right? So we'll look at that today. Just a quick recap, a quick little warning because it's coming very, very shortly. Before we get into it, guys, it's going to be a quick one today. We've got the Bitunix and Bingx exchanges. The two exchanges I look at on this YouTube channel, I handpicked them myself. I didn't just say yes to a random email in my Gmail account box from an affiliate marketer. I actually looked at these exchanges, I used them personally, and I picked them out as something you guys would be interested in because they're global non-KYC, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the world. They've both never been hacked before, and they're both very low in trading fees already, even lower with my 15% trading fee discount. So check those ones out, Bitunix and Bingx. The links are down below. Let's get into the content. I actually covered quite a lot in that introduction, right? But I want to explain it to you fully here today. And we'll do a quick deep dive into the short-term charts and see how they're looking as well, right? Okay, what is the concern right now? As I said, the concern is not necessarily the larger timeframes themselves. The 5-month bull market kind of macro structure is still intact. We've still got higher lows. We've still got higher highs on a macro scale. Seeing as we haven't broke down from a higher low, it's hard to say we haven't. It's hard to say we've formed something like a lower high. It's just simply not true because we're still in the same macro range, which is identified via the channel formation. So the structural uptrend is still intact. Yes, it's abnormal to see the price move sideways for so long. But we have to consider as well that the run up to this price range was abnormal as well. I mean, we saw a ridiculously large move to the upside with very little correction. Throughout 2023 and moving into early 2024, the ETF decision led to a very extensive move to the upside, way too fast, way too soon. Even cyclically speaking, we breached all-time highs before the halving. We also breached all-time highs only 850 days from our prior all-time high. In the last two cycles, it took 1,100 days. So yes, it is an abnormal consolidation range, but the entire uptrend so far since the bear market low has been pretty abnormal. That's just the simple reality. So I'm not necessarily too concerned about the abnormalities of the structure. I'm just focusing on textbook TA. And what I know to be true is that when I look at the 4-year cycle, I mean, this is very well established. The 4-year cycle is the most well-established thing you can find in cryptocurrency, really. The 4-year cycle says that the bull market top will be in 2025. And when I look at a late 2025, and when I look at 5 months of consolidation after an extended move to the upside way too soon, I see a potential for us to be reconnecting to the 4-year cycle, which we deviated way too far from, right? So that's kind of the bullish framework that Bitcoin still has on the table. Now, obviously, if Bitcoin goes ahead and breaks down below all three of these lines, the one stemming back from 2018, cutting through all the price action, the one stemming from October, and the channel formation, and then maybe as well, we'll discuss this tomorrow, maybe breaking below something like 47K. If you break all of that, then it becomes very clear that this whole narrative here, this whole, we're going to see a regular 4-year cycle, was not true. And the 4-year cycle as well would break. So we're not only talking about the breakdown of a structure on Bitcoin that lasts for 5 months, we're talking about the end of the 4-year cycle potentially being on the table here. Now, as I said, We're going to discuss this all tomorrow. This would only be confirmed on price chart breakdowns. But the thing that's concerning me today is the RSI itself. Now, this is recapping information. The weekly chart RSI is very, very important because if we look at the weekly chart RSI, we see, historically speaking, big descending resistance zones that have, kind of contained the price for long periods of time. When they break outwards, particularly to the upside, they lead to very potent moves. So we broke to the upside here, it led to the COVID drops bottom, and it led to a bull market. Broke to the upside here, it led to the end of a bear market, the end of a 1-year downtrend. Very big stuff there. And we broke to the upside here. It led to the end of a 7-month consolidation and the exacerbated move to the upside. And now we have a fresh descending resistance line on the weekly chart RSI. Just like these pink lines back here, we're going to go ahead and delete them just so you can focus on the new one. I'm going to make this one pink so you can see it. We have a fresh descending resistance line. So obviously, if we break that to the upside, we are likely to break the entire structure to the upside and continue the bull market. And that's the scenario in which you might see something like an altcoin season. But if we break to the downside, that's trouble. Right? Because just as the weekly chart RSI has been very important on upside breaks, it's also very important on downside breaks. And we are right now threatening to break it to the downside. That's a brief recap of everything you need to know going into this weekly candle close. We are below that level. The weekly candle closes in 14 hours. If we close below that level in 14 hours, that will be very bad news. It won't be necessarily the signal for you to run for the hills just yet. That would only come on the price chart, but it could be it will raise the probability of the bearish scenario quite significantly. Now, the reason why I don't think it'd be a sell signal is one, that only comes from the price chart. That's just an established fact. But the second reason is I understand that a lot of this uncertainty, a lot of the weird stuff that's been going on, particularly right now, is due to macroeconomic factors. People cannot decide, this is a simple truth, whether we're going to be seeing a recession or an inflationary quantitative easing period. They don't know what approach the Federal Reserve is going to be taking here, right? They don't know if we're going to see a stock market recession or a risk on asset recession, or we're going to see a continued uptrend on all assets until the regular cyclical tops, which is expected to be late next year or even early 2026, right? There's no clearly defined pathway there. So do we break all the cyclical trends? It's not just the 4-year cycle, right? It's 18.6-year real estate economic cycle, it's presidential cycle, and it's the 4-year cycle. Do we break all those and top now, or do we continue as usual and top out as expected late next year with all of those trends on stocks, on crypto, on real estate, all of these things? That's the big question right now. And we know for a fact, as per what the S&P 500 is doing, that there's a massive degree of uncertainty because it's not just Bitcoin that's facing a very important RSI support line, it's the S&P as well, breaking down below a very important RSI support line or threatening to do so, as well as forming a distinctive lower high right here. Unemployment is rising, and we have the FOMC decision in 10 days, right? So this is what I mean. The weekly candle closes in 12 hours, but the FOMC decision that could give us a lot of clarity on the economic situation, the macroeconomy, right, is in 10 days. So why would we trust the weekly candle close fully when we have a very big clarifying decision in 10 days, right? That's what I'm saying. So I'm more inclined to take the conservative approach and wait for more clarity rather than being like, oh, the weekly chart's broken down, freaking sell the kids. I'm not doing anything crazy upon this weekly candle close. Although, of course, it would be a very bad thing, right? Just historically speaking, there's no denying that, right? What about the short term? Well, just to wrap up here, because I don't want to make this video too long. What about the short term? Short term, to be honest with you, is looking okay. There is a threat here. I mean, we broke down from a very important, I'll make it a different color so you can see it. Let's make it blue. We broke down from this line stemming all the way back from 2018. If it loads in there, there it is. And what you can see is we broke down below that line, which held on the last drop, by the way, as a daily candle close. Now we've actually closed below it, and we're threatening to see a resistance support flip from it. So we really want to see Bitcoin breach the upside here. I think there is a decent chance it does that. If we look at the 4-hourly chart, again, we are seeing resistance from the that line very clearly, but we do have good signs. We do have a bullish divergence in the RSI. And we also do have a very kind of bullish structure as a whole in the RSI. Given that bullish divergence, we have a resistance zone we could break to the upside in the RSI, which would give momentum to break to the upside on the price chart, and also potentially to break the larger pink resistance line on the price chart that you can see there on the screen. Hopefully from there, we can flip this larger range resistance zone, which you can see here in red. If we flip that, we're in good position again. So I'm actually not too pessimistic here on short term. I think there is a relatively good chance that Bitcoin can salvage this weekly candle close. The only way to find out is to wait and see, though. So when it occurs, I will update you fully, but I hope that recap was adequate, and I hope you fully understand my stance now, and you understand the stakes here in the next 24 hours, but more important, 12 hours, I should say, but more importantly, the stakes in the next, let's say, 1 or 2 weeks. That's really the big one, right? So guys, this is a warning. Hope you take that advice or heed that warning adequately. Thank you for watching. Again, the Bitunix and Bingx exchanges are right there in the referral links down below. Non-KYC, never been hacked before, 15% trading fee discount. Moving forward, we have the VIP group on Telegram. If you want altcoin trading signals posted by myself, I post them on VIP. They have a 78% win rate. You're also getting access to a group chat. So if you want to do that, that's on Telegram. Go ahead and check it out. We also have the Crypto Academy's Become a Trader 10-unit course, which is on sale right now. If you want to learn how to trade, want to learn how to chart, want to learn how to do TA, this is where you can do it. All the information's on the website. And the final thing I'll mention, guys, is my second channel / podcast. I do content there. And if you're interested in any of those titles on the screen, take a look at those titles. If any of those catch your eye, go ahead and check it out. It's JS Quinn on YouTube. I appreciate your support there as well. New podcast will be coming within the next week. So thanks, guys, for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you tomorrow.